Alright, on this video we're going to be moving fast. Here's the story. As I've been working backwards here, I grab whatever the shot's going to be that I'm going to work on. I'm looking at it, I'm evaluating, should this be done in OpenToonz or Krita. Generally I'm going to favor Krita if it's going to be quick and dirty, like these shots where there's not a ton of animation. If there's going to be more difficulty, then I may want the OpenToonz X sheet. But because I generally prefer Krita for ink and paint, it's not a total rule, but generally I've been preferring it. Tend to favor it. So what I do is I make a copy. In the scenes, I create a folder with the same name as the shot, which in this case is 751. Then I copy the image into the folder and then immediately open it in Krita. Okay, so now I know I'm going to need layers. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the same trick I do with Aura files, which is I'm going to hit Control Insert. So there's one keyframe. Then if I go to save this as a ping file, oh, I see. Okay, let's add another layer and see what happens. There we go. Then Krita lets me actually store it as a Krita file and a ping file at the same time. So I'm kind of running the two in tandem. Okay, so in this case what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn on the stabilizer. So just for fun, I'm going to do the inking with not the Bezier curve tool, but the pen, but with a little bit of stabilization. So let's see how this goes. Okay, we're going to actually have to delete his mouth later. I don't know if I want to put in irises on this guy. Let's check go back to the storyboard and check recent shots. Yeah, I mean, he did kind of have a little bit of an iris thing going on, so that's fine. B key. B for brush. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the irises for the paint step. I'm not going to do it here. So he's got a little bit of an embarrassed look on his face because he kind of got spooked by Monkey. Okay, and boom, let's line that up. So now, again, I'm going to keep toggling here because I want to make sure I get the costuming right. Okay, that'll work. He does have this kind of a little bit of a bill on his, well, what the heck would you call it? It's not really, I guess it's a helmet. And boom. Let's go ahead and draw that kind of like so. I think that'll work. Let's pull out a little bit so we can see what we're doing. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's not great, but that's not bad. We'll just keep rolling with it like this. Okay. So now this is kind of important, costuming wise. I wanted these guys to have kind of a, oh, I guess it'd be kind of a leather padding situation, so they don't just look like they're wearing cloaks. One key reason being that and trust me, I didn't intend this, but the costumes do kind of, while they are reminiscent of ancient Middle Eastern soldiery, they are unfortunately also a little bit reminiscent of the Ku Klux Klan. Again, which I did not intend, but So to try to mitigate that a bit, I made some modifications to their costuming, which made the costumes better anyway. They really needed a little bit more. Their costumes were boring, is the long and the short of it. Okay, so I'm just going to take this guy and make like that, and that pretty much is it. And then, okay, so we'll call this soldier. And since we have another layer, actually let's check this out. Okay, I made a strategic error right now. It's not the first time I've done it, by the way. In that I just put his ink right over the pencils, which is pretty stupid, but that's alright. We'll recover from that here shortly. So we're going to have monkey sitting right here, looking happy. Looking innocent. Whoops. Okay, that stabilizer's definitely not working for that. There we go. I like that. Oh yeah, better give him his tail. Let's turn the stabilizer back on. Okay, that will work. So if you can believe it, that means the whole shot is pretty much reduced to really pretty much just a paint job and a background. So now here's the problem that I had, and hopefully I can fix this pretty readily. Boy, was that stupid, but okay. So here's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to crank the contrast. Okay, that seems to be getting rid of it, although if the truth be known, it actually turned it white. Didn't actually make it transparent. So let's reset that. Let's play with the alpha. Let's increase the contrast in the alpha so that, yeah, okay, so really what we want to do is take the stuff that's somewhat transparent and make it really transparent. Oh yeah. And hopefully that'll leave nothing except my ink lines. Okay, that looks pretty good. Great. And now what we can do is double this. I'm actually going to double this, triple it, quadruple it, and then keep baking it down so that I'm left with some pretty obvious nastiness that's going to be easy to see and therefore easy to get rid of. Like these and these. I'm just hitting shift, by the way. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to delete those. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this again. And this time I'm going to add a slight blur to it. Crazy the hoops we have to jump through, huh? Okay. And now I think if I actually make a copy of that, there we go. Now we're getting where we need to be. That's probably one too many. Actually, let's look at monkey. Let me see. I'm actually thinking we don't need these copies. Let's get rid of them. Okay, good to go. So the only other penance I need to do is to clean off the artifacting. So the main problem that mistake presents is that it's probably going to make, because of the additional filtering I had to do, it's probably going to make painting more difficult because Krita tends to be a little bit stupid about clean edges with fill operations if there's been some filtering that has taken place. I won't get into a technical discussion of why that is. It's got to do with some hokey ways that Krita deals with its image data under the hood. But for now, we'll just kind of live with what's probably about to happen. Let me show you. First of all, I'm going to hit the 5 key. And let's try to get this guy painted. So the simplest way to get there is going to be to go ahead and drag in this image, boom, as a color guide. So we'll insert that as a new layer, and then we'll just sample that color. And what we'll do is we'll just put this at the top, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit isolate layer. Yeah. And so now when I go here, I'll only see that layer. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go into behind mode. I'm making the strategic choice. Sometimes it's a good choice, sometimes it's a bad choice, to throw everything into a common layer. A lot of times it's what I've been finding is it's fine much of the time. Sometimes not so much. It just depends on the situation. But anyway, now I'm going to demonstrate what I was talking about. When I hit the fill tool, that actually came out pretty good, I have to say. So, okay. So now what I'm going to do is when you're doing animation in Krita and you've got a nice flat drawing, I'll show you here in a second. Boom. Okay. And you say, well, I'm going to need to animate his mouth. Okay. Well, we can just grab his mouth and just hit Control X, Control V. Okay? And the reason we saw it flash into this picture is because the pasting operation caused the isolate layer effect to be canceled out. So now we turned it back on, and we hit the fill tool, and we just fill that. And so now we've got a mouth that we can, if we turn isolate layer off again, now we can go ahead and just animate the mouth, and we're in good shape. Okay, so turn isolate layer back on so that we can get this. Boom. And actually what we really want to do is this. Let's sample that color. And I better make sure my yep, looks like we got it. Okay, so now we go back here. Okay, so now I can hit the B key, and because I'm in behind mode, basically I can't wreck anything, because I'm not able to paint over areas that have already been painted. So that means I can just go like this, and I don't have to worry about, see, nothing happens up there. And now I can also grab the whites of his eyes, sorry, and just do a standard fill operation like that. And now, to fix any artifacting, I can just scribble over it with the flesh tone, and it'll catch any little spots that might have been missed. Cool. So now I'm going to grab that color. I keep grabbing his mouth. I'm going to go ahead and label that so I don't keep on doing the same silly thing. Okay. So now I believe what we want is fill, fill. Yeah, actually, I guess it's almost the same color, this stuff. So we'll go with that. Got a little bit of a hiccup there. That's not too bad. And as it will turn out, the boom, the shadows will help us, by the way. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wing it on some of this stuff. This, I need to sample that color and fill that in. Hello. And we've got his mouth here, so let's turn off isolate layer. And we don't need this anymore. So now I'm just going to delete it out of there, save my Krita file, and ping at the same time. This is kind of cool because it means later it's going to be easy to go ahead and use this as a thumbnail, since I'm saving it as a ping and Krita Krita file at the same time. So what do we need? We need a color model for monkey. And so for that, I think we're going to have to go into our characters, monkey. Drag him in. We'll insert that as a new layer. And then we'll just take the animate tool, or the free transform tool, I should say. And by the way, notice this version of monkey wound up getting vetoed in favor of this version, which I argued does look more like Curious George, but the consensus was from my lovely lady that the smaller snout was more appealing by a fairly large margin. So who am I to argue? Okay, I want to turn the stabilizer off, by the way. Check the... Okay, cool. So we're going to go like this. We're going to go like this. And... okay. So now I made a little boo-boo that I'm going to have to do in normal mode, which is pretty silly. But I'll make it work. I'll make it work by gum. Okay, let's get that again. And just double checking. Yeah, his ears. So it's really just his feet, actually. So back to behind mode. We'll color these in. We'll color these in. What is belly? I know I should have this stuff memorized. Yep, he's got a belly situation. Fill. Okay. Grab this. And fill, 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 fill. Come on, monkey. You're supposed to fill, you silly goose. Okay. Alright. Now. That means this guide can be deleted. And we'll save our work yet again. Okay, so now what is the actual layout here? I'm going to go ahead and sketch over top of this. Let's grab a pencil, and we'll go to a red pencil. And essentially what we want to do is kind of have, I think we'll go ahead and allow a bit of a horizon-ish situation here. Let's check out these. Let's go to the storyboard and look at later shots. So presumably, actually I guess I should go up a notch here. Yeah, so presumably the monkey was over on this side of the guy, so I would say essentially what I'm getting at is this area over here is what he's actually dealing with. So there's nothing in the drawing that would suggest that's going to be an issue. So really the main thing is we want to have a sense of foliage sort of coming up and around monkey. Again, I make no bones about the fact that the foliage situation is a little bit of a misnomer considering there's supposed to be a drought going on, but they are in the woods, and even in a drought the woods do have some greenery. Yeah, and the fire would be behind him, so anyway, long story short is this is what we've got. So let's go here, and normally my practice has been to do a fill operation like so, and then maybe just a little bit of a gradient towards the top like that. Just so we kind of get that sort of thing going on. And the gradient is helpful in this respect. If you take, and we'll go ahead and put it on one more layer, but if you take a foliage brush, this is kind of useful. So you see, we want to do this, we want to make this very broad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a tone that's kind of right in the middle of this gradient. And the reason I did that is because it gives you this situation where we see this foliage here, and we also see it down here. So we see it down here as a highlight, and we see it up there as a as a shadow, right? Quite useful. So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and just put in a little bit more here, and then we'll go ahead and again, we want to keep this real simple. And I'm going to turn the opacity down a bit. Boom, boom. Frankly, I think that sells it. I think that sells it. Okay, so who's this? This is monkey. So I'm gonna label that monkey. Okay, and the reason I'm labeling that monkey is because looks like this is a dud layer that we don't need. So I'm gonna just call this foliage. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a little bit of this. And by the way, okay, that's our pencil drawing, so let's get rid of that actually. Okay, so we'll do that again. I keep making this mistake where I paint into these frames that are already being used with pencil stuff. And so yeah, this is the idea, is that he's down there in the greenery, kind of sort of hiding, right? Okay, now monkey we'll put in a group. Soldier and mouth we'll put in a group. Okay, save everything. Okay, so monkey is going to need a shadow layer. Boom, boom. And we're going to make this real simple. We're going to go like this. And we're going to lock alpha. Dial that in. Boom. Okay, soldier. We haven't animated his mouth yet, but obviously he's going to need a shadow layer. So this, the moon is ostensibly back here somewhere. So therefore, in this case, we're going to actually have probably 2 layers of shadow for this guy, because one is just to get his tone in the zone, if you will, and then the next layer is going to be to get some of the details. So I'm actually hitting the E key so I can chisel back out of this like that. And we'll lock the alpha. Probably something like that. He really doesn't move around too much, so whoops. So let's just zip in here. And we're going to add a second layer of shadowing. Boom. Okay, let me see if there's any other detail we really need. Maybe a little bit of an indication of his, on his beard. Okay, so now let's dial that in. There. There's our shot. Now all we have to do is do the lip sync. So this is going to be shadow 2, shadow 1. Am I right? Yeah, I'm right. And this is going to be mouth. Okay, so lip sync. We're going with, let me look at the dialogue. Dialogue is, it's just this monkey. So what I'm going to do, what I've been typically doing, is doing lip sync on 4s. So what I'm going to do is, and what I was going to say is, I've been generally with lip sync, I turn on the onion skins. So it's just, and then this is going to be just a little bit bigger. It's just this monkey. Okay. I think that's it. Ah, it's just this monkey. Oh boy, that went by too fast. So we'll go like that. Okay, that didn't work. Alt key. Ah. Okay, we got basically open, wider. So we're almost done. It's just this monkey. Okay, and now I'm gonna take this and just that's not the right expression. I'm gonna turn this around. Yeah, I'm trying to show a little bit of embarrassment. So let's go to behind mode. We'll give him a teeth color that's basically the same as his eye color. I don't like that. It's because of the shadows. The shadows fooled me. That'll work. That will work. Okay. Ah, it's just this monkey. Okay. Cool. The only glitch for me is I'm wanting to lower each of these. This is where I wish the translations in Krita were actually a filter, so that they could just be repeated with Control F. That would be so much easier. Okay, and now I want to go B key in erase mode. Get rid of that extra inadvertently covering up his lip, or his goatee. Okay, and then here we're going to take the mouth and bring the opacity of it down a little bit. And guys, I think that's it. I think our shot is done. Let's hit rewind. There may be a little bit of color correction, but it's just this monkey. That's it, guys. As you know, there will be more later. That was one entire shot in 30 minutes. That's what we want to see.